Have at you, Snake.
Welcome to the Liquid Snake Boss Guide. No matter what difficulty, category, or version of Metal Gear Solid you are playing, you must fistfight Liquid. There is no God mode or rations to save you from Solid Snake's twin brother. To those learning this game, Liquid can be a massive hurdle. Dying late into the fight or losing from the bomb is a serious time loss. However, if you learn how Liquid's AI fights, the phases of the boss, and practice your rhythm, you too can be a Tekken pro. Before we go into the fight itself, let's go over some basic information. Liquid takes the same amount of damage in normal, hard, and extreme, but deals more damage to Snake as the difficulties go up. Therefore, the lower the difficulty, the greater margin of error. Snake's attacks deal more damage on easy, making it the fastest fight. Notice that throwing Liquid does damage. If you get knocked off the edge, you will die on extreme. On other difficulties, mash movement to climb quickly. Watch out, Liquid can push you off the edge. Unlike the rest of the game, you cannot cancel your kick animation by pressing X. Don't try to choke Liquid, as he will toss you over his shoulder. If you are idle, on the ground, or hanging off the edge, Liquid can stomp you. Liquid's invincibility frames last for about 1 second. Regardless of skill level, understanding the fight itself will help massively. There are 3 phases to the fight. Bait and switch is the first and most important phase. During this phase, Liquid will avoid fighting Snake. Liquid will run around the arena. How Liquid moves depends on Snake's movement. In other words, the way you move will change his movement. Liquid can go into the corners of Rex and bait you into attacking. When you approach him, he will raise his fists. As you go for a punch, he will duck and try to counterattack. The old bait and switch. We respond by ducking and performing a combo after he tries to kick Snake. We can also move out of the way, then counterattack. We can also approach to throw him, and then begin a punch combo. You could also PPK after throwing. This phase lasts until Liquid's HP reaches 2/3. Because it is easy to manipulate Liquid's movement during this phase, we can exploit that to do an infinite combo. We'll explain the combo later. Getting serious. Liquid is done toying with Snake and begins to fight for real. He will start bobbing and weaving, going on the offensive. When you attack Liquid, he will counterattack during his iframes. On easy and normal, he will only counter if you do not finish a PPK. Otherwise, he will back up or move out of the way. On hard and extreme, he will always counter. You need to avoid his attack. You can do so by either crouching or moving out of the way. You need to make sure you are lined up with Liquid, or you may whiff your attack and take damage. Be careful, as he can surprise you by doing a special charge attack I call the Bull Rush. It has a slow startup, but can go across the arena. On hard and extreme, this attack does about 1/3 of Snake's HP bar. Ouch! Avoiding this attack can be done several ways. Either interrupt him with your own attack or throw, run out of the way when he begins to charge, or duck. Ideally, we want to get Liquid along a wall to keep him stuck in a counterattack loop. Remember, throws are an easy and consistent way to do damage, no matter what phase of the fight it is. Make sure you're lined up when you're trying to combo him as he's getting up. It may be easier to do this with D-pad rather than analog. Knockdown. Liquid will get knocked down on the ground or over the edge if you kick him. Liquid does a get-up attack that has a fair amount of range, so be careful. The final phase of the fight begins when Liquid's HP reaches the left part of the U in his name. A PPK from the left part of I in Liquid's name will also start the phase. When Liquid counters, he does a PPK. It is better to punch loop him by dodging rather than ducking. Just be careful not to run into his kick or move poorly. Punch loops are your friend. Otherwise, this phase is the same as phase 2. Unless you are worried about counterattacks, you do not want to knock Liquid to the ground, as it loses a lot of time. Liquid can be thrown or kicked off to finish the fight. A PPK at 16 HP on easy will knock off Liquid, a little bit past the vertical part of L. A PPK at 12 HP on other difficulties will knock off Liquid, touching the vertical part of L. A fight above 1 minute can be achieved with this information, no punch combos, and some practice. But I know you want to become an infinite punch master, right? There are 2 distinct rhythms for the infinite, single punch and double punch. It is best to practice this with emulator save states, or on extreme so you can run off the edge. The single punch is a repetitive single tap at around 160 beats per minute. It can be slower or faster by a few beats. The single punch may be easier for some to do, and can be applied in more advanced setups and backups. This is because Liquid does not move as much when doing the single punch infinite. The double punch is a galloping double tap, requiring a pause between each pair to avoid kicking Liquid. The double punch does the most damage, but can be tricky to master. Let's listen to the rhythm for both infinite styles. Be aware that there is a range to the rhythm. It doesn't need to perfectly match the metronomes. However, if you punch too slow, Liquid will escape. If you punch too fast, you'll kick him by accident. Notice the button noise, metronome, and input display. In terms of your mental game, it is important that you do not psych yourself out. If you overthink your rhythm or get super nervous, it is easier to mess up. Even if you screw up, there are backups to learn, so don't throw in the towel. Some, myself included, prefer doing this strategy without audio. It's up to you. One final tip. Find a comfortable way to tap the punch button, whether you increase or decrease the travel time of your thumb between presses. I will only go over some basic setups and backups to make this video brief. A future video will include advanced setups for players looking to improve their Liquid time. For most players though, these setups will do you just fine. Standard 2 throw. Hold left, throw Liquid. Stand along the shadow, Liquid will move top left. After Liquid moves, approach him, preferably just below him to throw. This avoids Snake accidentally falling off the edge. The tricky part is timing the start of the punch combo. Too late and Liquid will move out of the way. Too early and your punches will whiff. Pay close attention to how his animation plays and find your pocket. You can stand higher up the shadow if you'd like. If you do mess up the combo during phase 1, you can manipulate Liquid to the top left, allowing you to throw again. Just be careful of the slide, that you don't slide off the edge. A single punch infinite or a duck will stop this from happening. Perhaps the most simple setup involves running at Liquid and doing a single punch infinite. Do one little tap down, then begin. Just don't begin punching too late or Liquid will run away. If you can nail the rhythm, this may work for you. If he slides away or iframes happen, which happen from the wall's angle, try to keep him there. The slide can be annoying, and it depends on how Liquid's animation is playing. If you see Snake sliding, recognize it and plan your next move, especially if you need to duck. Try to do infinites along walls. It's the best place to do them. Thank you for watching this tutorial. To learn more about the Metal Gear Solid speedrun, visit metalgearspeedrunners.com.